with Teaching with Mrs. Wiswell, and today I'm coming to you from my classroom with a little friend. This is Peep. He's one of the chicks that just hatched yesterday. Isn't he cute? Or she? Hopefully she. Anyway, I wanted to come on and share with you about my chick hatching experience. So, it was fantastic. I can see no negatives to it. And I wanted to jump right in and tell you all about it and share with you what worked. And I can't share with you what didn't work because everything worked. I got 7 chicks from a local hatchery, and they obviously were fertile, and I placed them in the incubator, and 21 days later we got 7 perfect chicks. We had a 100% hatch rate, which is amazing. This is my first time ever doing it. So today I'm going to take you along with what I purchased, resources I've used, and just share with you the positive experience this has been for my classroom, because it's been amazing. But this little guy is chirping away, so I'm going to put him back in his box and gather some things to share with you. Hi there. So yes, my chick hatching adventure. So I wanted to hatch chicks in my classroom last year because I remember in 3rd grade, my 3rd grade teacher had chicks, and that has forever stayed with me. And it didn't happen last year. I'm not really sure why. I think that I underestimated the cost and the time, and I was my first year in 3rd grade, and it just didn't happen. But I knew I wanted it to happen this year. So last spring, when we did our budget, I allotted like $500 to purchase the supplies needed for the chicks. So that would include the cost of the incubator, the food, the bedding, the everything, the heat source, everything. And so I saved that out of my budget when we did all of our ordering last spring to order it this winter. And unfortunately, like happens sometimes, our district went into a freeze, a spending freeze. So any money I had saved from my budget was no longer my money, which was very disappointing. I don't really know how it works, but that's what happened. I don't know how a budget passes. They allot a certain amount of money, but then they put you on a spending freeze, and then it gobbles up all your money. So live and learn, spend it when you get it. So anyway, I was disappointed because I had an Amazon wish list of chick supplies, and it was upwards of $500. And that's just, I spend a lot of money on my classroom, I mean thousands, but I just didn't feel that I could take $500 from my family's budget to hatch chicks. It just didn't seem like it was going to happen until a very generous family said, send me the list. Just like that. Send me your wish list. Send me the links. And so I did, which was uncomfortable, but also I knew it was going to be so worth it, and I was so excited for these kids to experience it. So I did. I sent the links. And that mom ordered everything I needed. She ordered me the incubator, which I chose. I did a lot of research, and I chose the what is it? I'm not sure of the name. mini advanced 2, I think, incubator. It holds 7 eggs. I thought that was a good amount, and it's kind of foolproof. Like, as long as you keep water in it, it keeps the humidity and the temperature, and it turns them every 45 minutes. And it just really, came highly recommended by a couple of different blogs that I read when I was researching how to be most successful in hatching eggs in my classroom. And so I went with it. It was expensive. It was almost $300. But I knew if I wanted to do this, I wanted it to be a success. And how could I be most successful? It's getting good eggs, a good incubator, and things like that. So that's the one I chose, and that's the one that was purchased and gifted to my classroom. And I also got the heat lamp. I didn't do a heat lamp, I did like a heat mat, and I'll show you that in a minute, for after the chicks were born. So anyway, back up a little bit. So we get all the supplies. I call a hatchery that's like 5 minutes from my school to see if they sell fertile eggs, and if they do, when can I pick them up? So I connect with them, and if you're local to Maine, it's McChicks. I highly recommend them for all your chick needs. And she picked me out 7 eggs, 4 of one breed and then 3 of like various breeds. So the 4 were supposed to have like a 97% hatch rate, and then the other ones were kind of like a more exotic breed, I guess, and maybe not as successful of a hatch rate, but she threw them in there to give us some variety. And so I went and picked up my eggs, and we put them in the incubator on a Tuesday, and I recommend doing that because there's a 21-day incubation period, so that would give you time on either end so they don't hatch on a weekend. So if you set them on a Tuesday, in theory they'll be born on a Tuesday, and if they come a day early, you'll be in school on Monday, and if they come a little bit late, you'll be at school. So that's why I chose Tuesday to put them in. And so we did that, and we candled them probably like 4 times when they were in there. I didn't want to do it too much, and again, I didn't know what was too much or what wasn't too much. So we did candle them, which was very exciting, our little baby ultrasound for the chicks. My kids were just infatuated with it, and checking for signs of life. And of course, I was a nervous wreck every time I would get ready to candle them that one was going to be dead. We did talk about that. I did prepare them that, one of the chicks may not make it, either in the embryo or at birth, or that, they could just be a bad batch and none of the chicks would make it. So I did prepare my students for that. A lot of them, or not a lot of them, but a couple of them have experience with chicks, and they have done it themselves, or they raise chickens. So it wasn't a huge surprise, but I wanted to prepare them and prepare myself because I'm a city gal living in Maine. So I don't live in Maine, but I teach in Maine. So I feel like I had everything in place. We kept a journal, we did a lot of reading, we did a lot of researching, and we did some creative writing about the chicks and what we were hoping for, and it was just great. It was just wonderful. And I've shared in the past that I had a difficult class. I still have them, but they're less difficult. And I want to say it's because of this chick project. Because for whatever reason, my class was just very clearly divided and into almost like 2 pods or groups, and they just did not get along. And they just didn't have the same things in common. I don't know what it was, but they fight like brother and sisters, and this project is something we all were interested in, and no one was made fun of for being interested in it. No one was made fun of for not being interested in it. It was just, it just brought us all together. Or they've grown up a little bit and it's that fourth quarter click. But regardless, I'm taking it as a win. And I'm so excited that I did this project because I did question if it was the right class to do it with. And it for sure was. They have thoroughly enjoyed every bit of the process, right up until we saw our first pip, to hatching, to playing with them today. I mean, it was wonderful. I wish I could show you the video that I took of them playing with the chicks, and maybe I will put it in there just and blur their faces, because it's just the chatter between the beep, 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 and their chatter like, oh my God, they're so cute. Oh, give me that one. Like, oh, he's sleeping. Oh, you know, it was so wonderful. And we had so much fun. And we, oddly enough, you may be questioning, like, how much work did we get done? We worked through one hatching yesterday. We were so busy with math. And I had an observation today. And my kids were on point. Even with the chirping. So I definitely gave them time to play with them and enjoy them, but we definitely still are able to get our work done. So the number one question that I've been asked since I started this, on both personally and on Facebook groups, is what are you doing with the chicks when you're done with them? And I'm lucky that I have a student that raises chickens and they're taking them home with them. I kind of want to keep them. My husband kind of says no. Not really. I could keep them, but I'm not there yet. Maybe next year. So they are going to a beautiful home with a wonderful family, and they will be well taken care of. And I cannot stress this enough. As an animal lover and just a decent human being, you need to have an end game in place before you start this process. I don't want anyone to go into this hatching 7 chicks and be like, oh, we'll find someplace for them to go, because there's a chance it could be 7 roosters. You just don't know what you're gonna get. So you need to know where I had a plan and a backup plan. So I had 2 families that were willing to take them. And since then, many have spoken up and said, oh, I would have taken them. So I have some options. Again, it's where I live. I teach in rural Maine, and there's lots of farms and animals, and a lot of people have chickens. And so I'm fortunate in that sense. I never would have done this if I didn't have a plan for the chicks. That's as heartbreaking as one of them not surviving. So really make sure you have that plan. And kind of have a point person. If you're kind of like myself, a little unsure, or like if I had to cull a chick, I don't know that I would have been able to. I didn't even know what culling a chick was until I started this process. And that's when one is like deformed or not developing, and then you have to, spare its life. So I had my husband on backup for that, and then I had our school secretary, who actually ended up playing midwife to one of our chicks who got stuck in its shell, and you're not supposed to really help it through, but he was gonna die. So she just kind of gently helped break away the shell at his own pace until he could break free, because he was pipped, but he got spun around by the other chicks in the incubator. And as a result, he was pipping into the bottom of the incubator. And then his membrane got hard, and so it wasn't pliable for him to break through, and he was exhausted. And I didn't know if he was gonna make it, but midwife came through, and he is doing fine with his pack. And he's the fluff ball, and you can't even tell that he was the runt of the litter. We named him Chance because our secretary took a chance and tried to save him and was successful. So I'm trying to think of what questions I've been asked or what to do. I just say research, research, research. You know, search how to have a successful hatch in a classroom setting. And there's a couple great blogs that came up. And I didn't see a lot on YouTube of the whole hatching process and incubation and things like that. I did have a live feed going, and I highly recommend that if you can. I didn't do it through my YouTube channel. We did it through my district's YouTube channel. So IT came and set up the camera and all that stuff and computer for me, and it was streaming, so kids, they watched a couple of the chicks hatch early in the morning, and I had one that was out sick who was able to watch the process, and so that was awesome. It was also good for me to have some peace of mind and not sleep at school, because there was one night I almost did sleep here, like the day of the hatch, when I was trying to make a decision on moving them from the incubator to the brooder box, because I had 2 hatch pretty early and then nothing for almost 8 hours, and I didn't know if I should take those ones out, but everything I read said not to, and that they could stay in the incubator for up to 48 hours. So I obviously made the right choice, and we had a successful 100% hatch. And yeah, so I'm gonna take you over so you can see these beautiful chicks and kind of see the setup that I have for them. I got water and food bowls, feeders, and you want to make sure you get medicated chick food. I just, like I said, got everything off of Amazon. So yeah, all right, let's go look at the chicks. Oh, looks like we have some eating. So they are eating, and then this is the heat mat or lamp, as opposed to like a big rickety lamp that I thought would be a little bit more dangerous for the kids. This is great. It's not hot to the touch, but it's warm enough that it keeps them warm. And here are the babes. They are so much fun. And they're going home on Friday, which is the Friday before our spring break. So it was perfect. They hatched on Tuesday, or some on Monday, some on Tuesday. We're going to enjoy them for the week and then send them to their forever home. They're already so much bigger than they were when they first came out. All right, so that is my journey to being a chick mom slash teacher. And my own daughter, who's also a 3rd grader, came in last night and played with them and is obsessed like her mom. And so it's been just a great experience for everyone. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Just leave me a question in the comments. And good luck. If you decide to hatch chicks, I would love to hear all about it. All right, take care. Remember, teaching is hard, but so are you. We've got this. Bye.